Well, 2 days into the new year, and President Trump already working pretty hard to fulfill another campaign promise.
We are building a wall on the southern border.
We will build the wall. That I can tell you.
We will build a great wall along the southern border.
Lots of wall talk during the campaign. The president now set to meet with top Republican and Democratic leaders tomorrow to discuss the Dreamers and DACA, but he says the border wall is a must in this deal. So can he make this deal happen? Here now to debate that, former Deputy Assistant to President George W. Bush, Brad Blakeman, and Executive in Residence at American University's School of Public Affairs, Capri Cafaro. Good morning to both of you. Thanks for coming on. Capri, we want to start with you. I just want to ask you, first off, right now, what is the Democratic Party's position on immigration in this country? Because I think they have a lot of positions. I mean, are they just open borders at this point?
Look, I can't speak for the entire Democratic Party, but I do think that it's safe to say that Democrats, particularly in Washington, feel very strongly that it is necessary to find a deal to protect the Dreamers and deal with the quote-unquote DACA situation by the March deadline. It's just a few months away, and, you know, this has been something that they have been very committed to, making sure that those individuals that came to the United States as children through no fault of their own, through no choice of their own, and know no other country but the United States, have an opportunity to stay here. So I think that it is safe to say that it is a top policy priority of theirs now that we're in the new year.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Brad, I think that it's been reported that the president does have a soft spot for these kids that have come here that don't know any other country but the United States. But he also has a big problem with illegal immigration, as this country has a big problem with illegal immigration. We have millions of illegal immigrants pouring into this country. The Democrats are so resoundingly against this wall. But how else do you protect this border?
You must have a physical barrier, a virtual barrier. We must use every tool in the toolbox, drones. And there's no doubt that the Democrats want a secure border. Republicans, it's just a question of how we get there. Likewise for DACA, we believe that Dreamers need to be treated fairly and equitably. So here's the dirty word in Washington: has been compromise. That needs to be cleaned up. We need to compromise as we move into the new year, because look, both of us want the same thing. It's just a question of how we get there. And if we have to compromise in our private lives, in our business lives, we certainly have to do so in the political life as well. So I believe the art of the deal is real. I think it's going to happen, and we're going to have a secure border, and we're going to have an equitable and fair solution to Dreamers.
Capri, I want you to go into that. What is the problem with the wall? Is it just that the left identifies that as a racist idea, or do they really have an issue with putting a wall there?
Well, I think it's twofold. I think that, one, there's, you know, a symbolism surrounding the wall, basically saying that, you know, we are not welcoming individuals from, you know, south of the border, so to speak. And so if you put a physical barrier there, that somehow that indicates that we are not a welcoming society. So I think there is a symbolism that exists. But I also think that there is, you know, the aspect of, you know, how do you actually execute this wall, given the terrain, given the, you know, thousands of miles that it has to go, you know, and the cost associated with it. Democrats and Republicans across, you know, the southern border have expressed some concerns. However, I would say this. I agree with Brad. I think that we need to get past the issue of, you know, our camps being divided. We need to find a compromise on this. And I think that, you know, Democrats in the past have expressed a willingness to increase border security, increase funding for border security. And maybe there is a way to, you know, enhance the existing infrastructure down there as a starting point. You know, and I don't think that President Trump is going to back away from wanting to do the wall. I don't think that the Democrats are going to back away from trying to protect the Dreamers. But there's got to be a middle ground where I think both can claim victory.
Yeah, it's not a traditional Democratic ideal to allow illegal immigrants into this country. I mean, they've always had issue with that, and that's usually been a bipartisan thing.
Absolutely.
Do you think that this gets done? Does the wall get done?
Yeah, absolutely. High fences make good neighbors. I have one between my neighbor, and when my neighbor wants to see me, she doesn't hop the wall. She comes to my door, and that's what we have to do. We have to have a physical presence in a wall. We have to have a virtual presence using technology. The president has admitted that, and we have to use the technology of the skies and using drones to make sure that we have the broad view of the border. So it's a combination of technology and physical barriers and smart technology, and that's what's going to be, I believe, the compromise in securing our border once and for all.
Too bad you two can't figure this out, because you get along quite nicely here on television. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right.